Goliath Bank had a lead software developer who devised a scheme to earn fraudulent credit card reward points. He was able to do this by linking his personal account to corporate credit cards of third-party companies that Goliath Bank had been collaborating with. The insider was able to accumulate approximately 46 million reward points and redeem them for $300,000, which he later sold in online auctions. Why did it happen? There were few or no access controls in place. Large sums of cash could have been obtained with minimal effort. Employees were not given threat identification training. Employees were unaware of company regulations regarding credit cards. There was a lack of governance regulation. And there was a lack of preventative measures.
This attack was discovered when an employee sent an anonymous tip to the company after the insider had mentioned how easy it was to accumulate the points for easy money to another coworker offhandedly. This attack was possible because the insider threat, along with all other employees, have access to third-party information. Since they have access to the third-party information, it made it very easy for him to locate all of the accounts and attach it to his own personal one. If employees were not allowed access to all company information, they would not have had access to the third party's information at all. Access and information should be given out on a need-to-know basis. If a third party's information needs to be accessed, credentials should be required and timestamps should be put on accessed information.
Under the first category, which is current security policy, each of the 6 rules that will act as a guide in finding company vulnerabilities. This assists in understanding where a threat got in or where a future threat may breach. The second area under identity are the assessments. The assessments section is used to assess a company's general assets. The third category under identify is governance. This will allow a company to explain what their goals and expectations are. The last category, assigned to identify category, is stakeholder communications. This will be based on the current situation with their stakeholders. With this, we are able to understand how they communicate, what is being communicated, and when. This will be a key factor when creating the protect portion of an insider threat program.
This is an example of one of the vulnerability assessments that a company could go through. This vulnerability assessment is broken up by role, which would be completed by the roles inside of a company, or if these roles do not yet exist, by the CEO, to determine the vulnerabilities that a company faces in each category.
Protect portion of our Insider Threat Program, we have created 2 categories. The categories are Vulnerability Assessment Results and Protective Policies. The Vulnerability Assessment Results will refer to the company's assessments done under the Identify section and use them to evaluate the company. The Protective Policies category will be used to inform the company about their current insider threat situation and a plan for moving forward. This will be done using a memorandum where the issues are explained and what steps will be taken next. This will help the company understand what our Insider Threat Program will be doing at this stage.
When you go on the Protect portion of the webpage, you will find 2 buttons, the first being the Vulnerability Assessment Results. When you click on that, you'll be prompted to put in your company name, GNB, and when you hit enter, you'll find your result scorecard. So on the scorecard, you can see that GNB scored relatively high, 5 being the highest, and them getting 3 4s and 1 3 out of all of their results. When you go back to Protective Policies, you can see an example memorandum, and you can see protect policies that the company could use and download.
This section of our program focuses on using different detection methods in order to locate different threats towards the company. There are 3 categories that the NIST framework uses for detection. These categories include anomalies and events, security continuous monitoring, and detection processes. Anomalies and events involves detecting actively, quickly, and knowingly the impact of certain events. The continuous monitoring category ensures that information and assets are monitored along with checking how effective the protective policies are. The last category of the NIST framework is detection and processes, which explains that detection processes should be tested. This category involves testing the detection processes and implementing ways a company can test this process. All processes need to be secured and working properly for a company to have an effective detection policy.
When you go onto the Detect portion of the webpage, you will be prompted to 6 buttons, the 6 different categories. Under these buttons, you will find information regarding the Detect policies that each of these positions should follow in accordance to NIST.
Is broken down by 5 areas in the NIST framework. These are response planning, communications, analysis, mitigation, and improvements. Response planning consists of putting plans into motion as quickly as they are needed depending on the severity of the event. The communications section uses stakeholders for outside law support and uses specific activities in order to do this. The analysis section breaks down the case and looks at everything that went wrong in order to choose the appropriate response plan. The improvement section is where the company will take what went wrong the first time and use that to improve on their current plan. This will help minimize and/or eliminate the vulnerabilities within the company that originally allowed for the issues to occur. The recovery section in the NIST framework is used as our final step of the company's insider threat plan. Under the recovery planning stage, it ensures that all processes and procedures are executed and maintained in a timely manner to restore system and assets that have been affected by a cybersecurity breach as quickly and effectively as possible. This will make sure that plans are continuously carried out after the incident is resolved. The improvement section says that using what the company knows about what went wrong previously, the recovery policy will be updated about better accommodating these things. Communication says that anyone inside or outside of the company must be involved in the activities being used to restore the company. This means that activities need to be accessible and relevant to each party.
Finally, when you reach the Recover portion of the webpage, you'll find a press release checklist that your company can use if you have to issue a press release. The lessons learned portion is extremely vital because it ensures that what happened does not happen again. So, what were the lessons learned? The first lesson that was learned was that employees should not have access to third-party information. This means putting in access controls, having everything on a need-to-know basis instead of a nice-to-know basis, and keeping timestamps and red flags in place so that when a company's personnel access the information, they're alerted of it and they know who did it at what time.